Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathing fire, his head in the sky. Godzilla, 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 Godzilla!
Hello, divers. Welcome to Mysteries of the Deep. I'm Tom Feeney, podcaster and purveyor of pop culture propaganda, searching beneath the surface of what seems to be the ordinary, the mundane, the pedestrian. This week, we dive into a most unusual incarnation of everyone's favorite rampaging reptilian, the mighty Godzilla. A version that has a distinctly Neapolitan flair. That's correct. An Italian take on the Japanese-born monster. No, it's not just the big lizard with a mustache and a chef's hat. Let's not perpetuate stereotypes, shall we? No, this is a truly and deeply weird attempt to tailor a Japanese movie to an Italian audience. It is not just the original Godzilla film dubbed into Italian. Well, not exactly. Anyway.
Godzilla, king of the monsters, alive, surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal wave of terror to wreak vengeance on mankind.
Godzilla, king of the monsters, it's alive!
A gigantic beast,
Stalking the earth, crushing all before it,
in a cyclonic cavalcade of electrifying horror.
raging through the streets on a rampage of total destruction.
Godzilla, king of the monsters,
Incredible titan of terror.
wiping out a city of 6 million in a holocaust of flame.
Jet planes cannot destroy it.
Bombs cannot kill it.
All modern weapons fail.
Is this the end of our civilization?
Can the scientists of the world find a way to stop this creature?
For the answer, see Godzilla, king of the monsters.
You may wish to deny it, but your eyes tell you it's true.
A tale to stun the mind.
More fantastic than any ever written by Jules Verne.
More terrifying than any ever shown on the screen.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
A story beyond your wildest dreams.
Dynamic violence.
Savage action.
Spectacular thrills.
Godzilla, king of the monsters.
Fantastic beyond comprehension.
Gripping beyond compare.
Astounding beyond belief.
The mightiest monster of them all.
See Godzilla,
King of the monsters.
The original Godzilla made his devastating debut way back in 1954. The touching tale of a giant radioactive lizard creature with atomic breath and a penchant for mass destruction was, of course, a huge hit in the monster's birthplace of Japan. But it was also a surprise smash in the Western world. And lo, there were sequels. So many sequels. In fact, the latest entry, Godzilla -1, was also a surprise hit in the United States, not just at the box office, but critically as well.
今度の戦いは未来を生きるための戦いなんです。ゴジラは必ず仕留めます。ゴジラ-1
This latest entry in the Godzilla franchise grossed over $100 million in ticket sales in the US, becoming the highest-grossing Japanese language film of all time at the American box office. In fact, the film was re-released in January of 2024 in a new version, this time in glorious black and white to honor the original film. This edition, called Godzilla Minus Color, was meant to be an homage of sorts to the original 1954 film, which of course was also in black and white. Setting aside the modern incarnation of the monster, let's go back a little while. The year is 1977. Disco was taking over the music charts. A young Bill Murray joined Saturday Night Live, and a scrappy little space fantasy film took the world by storm. I am, of course, referring to Starship Invasions with Christopher Lee. Yeah, that's the one. Look it up. Anyway, 1977 was also the year a new-ish Godzilla film was released. In Italy. Only in Italy, to be specific. This, once again, new-ish Godzilla was the brainchild of Italian filmmaker and sorta legend Luigi Cozzi. I say that because Cozzi sat in the director's chair for some truly mind-bending, so bad they're good genre films in his multi-decade career. In the 1980s, Cozzi directed two spectacularly awful Hercules movies that starred former Incredible Hulk actor Lou Ferrigno as the Greek god. Not to be outdone, he again cast Ferrigno as swashbuckler Sinbad in 1989's Sinbad and the Seven Seas. Yes, it was terrible. Probably a sin, and definitely bad. Get it? Okay. Now, Cozzi is probably best known for directing a shameless Star Wars ripoff in 1978 called Star Crash.
The supreme galactic spectacle. Star Crash. You will be blasted through the blackness of 100 million nights into an incredible universe of fantastic sights and sounds beyond your wildest dreams. Star Crash, rated PG.
In an interview after the release of Star Crash, Luigi Cozzi swore that the idea for the film came before Star Wars was released. Sure. I guess it's just sheer coincidence that both movies have space smugglers, cute robots, a galactic emperor, a planet-sized weapon, and, lightsabers. Now, Star Crash has some elements that were unique to it as well. Just off the top of my head, bad acting, poor pacing, terrible dialogue, and bargain basement special effects. One more thing. A very young David Hasselhoff as Prince Simon, the Emperor's son. So, there's that. Now, going back a couple of years from Star Crash to 1976, the Hollywood publicity machine was in full swing, anticipating a big-budget remake of the classic monster monkey movie, King Kong.
Now, at a theater near you, you can see the most exciting, original motion picture event of all time. King Kong. King Kong, rated PG.
The film, released by Paramount Pictures, was expected to be a Kong-sized blockbuster for that year's Christmas season. The film's producer, Dino De Laurentiis, predicted that the film would be an even bigger hit than Jaws, which was released the year before. Let's just say it's a good thing for Dino that he didn't wager any gambling money on it. So while King Kong easily climbed to the top of the box office charts, it didn't reach the heights Dino and Paramount expected. But it did inspire fellow Italiano Luigi Cozzi to breathe new life into another classic movie monster. Cozzi had a track record of procuring classic science fiction films and successfully releasing them in Italian theaters. Initially, he attempted to secure the rights to the 1961 British kaiju film Gorgo, but found their asking price a little too high. Now turning to Toho, the studio behind Godzilla, Cozzi hoped to license the original black and white movie. Cozzi had fond memories of watching Godzilla as a child in theaters, though it hadn't been screened in Italy since 1959. Toho agreed to the licensing arrangement, albeit with a caveat. They could only provide Cozzi with a negative of the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now that was the US version that was edited by Terry Morse and featured additional English language footage with Raymond Burr. However, Cozzi encountered a major obstacle in his quest to re-release Godzilla. Italian distribution companies were hesitant because the film was in black and white. Ugh, SMH. So despite Godzilla's worldwide fame, distributors doubted the audience's willingness to attend screenings of a monochrome film. Now, computer colorization of black and white film has been around since the 1980s. It was expensive to do and looked terrible. Honestly, it still does, even with modern techniques. So how do you solve a problem like Godzilla? Luigi Cozzi invented a solution, a process he called Spectrorama 70. Now, the name itself means nothing, really. Basically, this process entailed refilming the movie. Different colored gels were placed over each frame of the original film, and using a stop-motion camera, each frame was shot again with the gels. They added a weird, kind of trippy look to the black and white scenes. Now, in no way did it actually look in any way accurate, but technically it was now in color. If that had been the only change Cozzi made to the movie, it would have been a minor footnote and quickly forgotten. But there were other alterations and some questionable additions. As part of the deal to run the film in Italian theaters, it had to have a running time of at least 90 minutes. The American version of Godzilla clocks in at a trim 79 minutes. So yes, there will be padding. First, Cozzi added a 5-minute prologue titled Hiroshima 6 Agosto, 1945. It features stock footage of pre-World War II Japan, footage of an atomic explosion, and here is where it gets a bit dicey. There's actual footage of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs' aftermath. Clearly visible are the charred remains of Japanese citizens. That edition has been widely criticized for being incredibly insensitive and in poor taste. Cozzi used a lot of footage to pad out the rest of the movie, including footage from other movies as well. He looted his own collection of sci-fi movies and used shots from the second Godzilla movie, Godzilla Raids Again, as well as movies The Day the Earth Caught Fire and The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Furthermore, Cozzi's version introduced a new synthesizer-based musical score composed by Vince Tempera, which, as you can imagine, greatly diverged from the original 1954 soundtrack by Akira Ifukube. The re-edited version called Godzilla Il Re dei Mostri was released in Italian cinemas in 1977 and was a modest success. But after its initial release in Italy, that version of the film became the property of Godzilla's owners, Japanese studio Toho. Since then, the Italian Godzilla has pretty much been forgotten about and seen these days as mostly a curiosity. Blurry, poor quality bootleg video cassettes became part of the VHS collector's market, but that was pretty much all there was to it. But these days, however, you can pretty much find anything on the good old interweb highway net or whatever. But as of this recording, the Luigi Cozzi version of Godzilla, affectionately referred to as Godzilla, get it? Cozzi, Godzilla, yeah, okay. That can be found on YouTube and actually can be downloaded for free from the amazing Internet Archive website. If you decide to watch this cinematic curio, please don't do it while indulging in any mind-altering substances. Just don't. Trust me on this one. Thanks for listening. If this is the first time you've heard this podcast, check out our past episodes, available on almost all podcast providers, and subscribe so you don't miss a single one. If you like what you hear, write us a review. We would love to know what you think. Or drop us a line at the Deep Dive Podcast at gmail.com or on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter/X feeds. You can find links to those in our awesome t-shirt store in the bio of our Instagram page. All clips used in this podcast are meant for educational purposes only and not to infringe on existing copyrights. Mysteries of the Deep is part of the Deep Dive Podcast family and a production of Automaton Studios.